In this video, we have a look at true bearings. How do we use true bearings to help us draw a diagram from a word question and help us to work out the answer to that word question. True bearings are measured in the clockwise direction from the north-south line. So if we were to calculate the size of the angle using true bearings, we would start at the north and work our way around till we got to the direction that we were traveling in. So therefore, our true bearing measurements will range from 0 up to 360 degrees. When we are writing true bearings, we always use 3 digits when we are writing our angle and finishing off with degrees and then a capital T. So for example, if the size of the angle we were measuring was 30 degrees, our true bearings would be 030 degrees true north. So remembering if it is under 100 degrees, we need to put the 0 in front. So we are maintaining 3 digits. If our angle size was 260 degrees, we'll write it as 260 degrees true north. So let's have a look at an example of how we can use true bearings to help us draw a diagram and to answer a word question. So in the example, a boat travels a distance of 5 kilometers from P to Q in the direction of 35 degrees true north. And we want to calculate how far east P is from Q, how far northeast P is from Q, and what is the true bearing from P back to Q. So let's go through and identify the key information we need to help us draw our diagram. And we've got a boat, and that is traveling a distance of 5 kilometers from P to Q in the direction of 35 degrees true north. So when we come to draw our diagram, we'll start off with our boat. And we know that that boat is traveling in a direction of 35 degrees true north. So we need to work out where that is going to be. So adding in my north line, and 35 degrees true north is going to be in this direction up along there. So that boat has traveled from point P to point Q. So we can use that now to form a triangle that is going to help us with our calculations. So now I've formed a right angle triangle. I can go ahead and have a look at answering A and B. So for part A, we want to work out how far east for P is from Q, and that is going to be between P and Q, how far east up here. So because I have formed a right angle triangle, I can use trigonometry to help me to work out what that distance is going to be. And using my angle of 35 degrees, and I know that the boat traveled 5 kilometers, I can use opposite and hypotenuse. So I can use sine to help me work out what that distance east is going to be. So writing the formula, sine of the angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of 35 degrees is going to equal the distance over 5. So the distance will equal 5 times sine 35. So the distance east between P and Q is going to be 2.87 kilometers. So for B, I can work out the distance north between P and Q. So that will be from P up north until I reach the same level as Q. So again, I can use trigonometry to be able to complete that calculation. But this time I'm going to use cos because I've got adjacent and hypotenuse. So writing the formula, cos of the angle will equal adjacent over hypotenuse. So cos of 35 is going to equal my distance divided by 5. So my distance is going to be 5 times cos 35. And that is equal to 4.1 kilometers. So the boat traveled east 2.87 kilometers and north 4.1 kilometers. So to finish off the example, we want to work out the true bearing 2P starting at point Q. So to do that, we need to add in our north line at point Q. And we want to work out the true bearing from Q to P. So it is going to be this angle here. Now to work out that angle there, what I can do is I can work out my value of x for this angle in here. So 35 plus x is going to be 180, and I'm using my co-interior rule, angle rule for that one. So x is going to equal to 145 degrees. So now that I've worked out what that angle is going to be, I can work out what my true bearing angle is going to be. So now my angles are going to add up to 360. So if I know that my angle x is going to be 145, then the balance has to add up to 360. So 145 plus y is going to equal to 360. So y is going to equal to 360 minus 145. So y is going to equal to 215. So my true bearing of P from Q is going to be 215 degrees true north. There is a separate video on how to complete those calculations if you need a little bit of help in calculating the true bearings between 2 points. So that is an example of how we can have a word question and use our knowledge of true bearings to be able to create a diagram that helps us to answer the word question.